this coming July 12th, we finally get the fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. And this is my prediction for that fight. So let's get into the tail of the tape, man. We got Shakur Stevenson. He is 27 years old. He is 5'8", and he had a 68-inch arm reach. He has 23 wins, no losses, no draws, 11 wins by knockout. All right. So we know Shakur Stevenson's fighting style, for the most part, is very defensive-minded. At times, a lot of people believe he's a little too defensively sound for his own good. One of the most controversial fights that he had is the fight with Edwin De Los Anjos. And by the way, go check out my Edwin De Los Anjos versus Keyshawn Davis prediction. I just dropped that yesterday. But that's his style. I think Shakur Stevenson is a great boxer. He has decent speed. I think he has underrated power. When he plants his feet, that's where he can definitely do some damage. He can drop you. He had a lot of unexpected droppages. People that he's dropped in some of his fights. It was fights where he's fought dudes, and I didn't expect him to drop these dudes, and he actually did drop them. You know, Katia, I didn't expect him to drop him. I didn't think he was going to drop Oscar Valdez either, but he did. He almost stopped Oscar Valdez. But yeah, I think he's a underrated fighter. I know a lot of people, they call him sleeper sin. He's but that's his style. That's how he fight. He'll tell you, look, this is how I'm going to fight. I'm not changing up for nobody. This is how I fight. And why should he? That's his style. He don't have to stand there and get knocked upside his head just because everybody want to see that. Now, yeah, I agree, this is boxing, but the name of the game is to get hit, not get hit, man. It's up to the other fighter to be skillful enough to stop Shakur Stevenson from doing what he's doing. And as of yet, there hasn't been any fighters that's able to stop him. Rather, it's a boxer, rather it's a brawler, a dude with a puncher. It don't matter. It seems like none of these styles yet, it doesn't matter, man. He just has exceptional defense. And I know y'all can call it running. I call it defense, man. Catch me if you can. That's it. That's simple. His footwork, he doesn't have the footwork, meaning, when he dances around the ring, so to speak, he doesn't have that footwork where, he just can I never seen him do it, like just go around the ring, kind of like a Devin Haney, jumping back and forth. He has the footwork where he's able to control the distance. He's a master at controlling the distance and knowing when to evade your punch. Like, he'll tell you he can see the punch before it even come. And that's something Floyd Mayweather had. You know what I mean? So I think the closest in defense to Floyd might be Shakur Stevenson, man. It's not... I don't think nobody's as good as Floyd, man, like the modern boxers. But I would say if any of the dudes that's fighting right now has the defense that's closest to Floyd Mayweather, it would have to be Shakur Stevenson. That's how I see him. He does have his drawbacks. To get out of the way, he just draws straight back. Sometimes that a lot of fighters suffer the consequences doing that. But it's working for Shakur though. It's been working for him, you know what I mean? And I like Shakur. Good. He has underrated inside work too. He has good inside work. Now let's get into William Zepeda. William Zepeda is 28 years old. He's 5'9" with a 69.5-inch arm reach. 33 wins. 27 big wins by knockout. So William Zepeda has some serious power. He has good punching power. Flat-footed, and they're both southpaws, by the way. So he has the slight reach advantage over Shakur and the slight height advantage over Shakur. Shakur has the youth over him, and the speed, I think, would probably go to Shakur too. William Zepeda is pretty much a come-forward fighter, one-dimensional in my opinion. Come forward, good, serious punching power. But, sometimes that could be a flaw, man. And we saw that against Tevin Farmer, a guy that's not known for his punching power, was able to drop William Zepeda. You see what I mean? Because he underestimated himself. He overestimated himself when it comes to his power and when it comes to his defense. And that's what happened. He got clipped. It happens. Then they had a rematch. He did a little better in the rematch, but Tevin, it was more of a brawl. It was more of a brawl in the rematch, if I can recall correctly. But good fighter, decent, scrappy fighter. Seems to have a solid chin on him. Now, that's another thing that people always question when Shakur gets into these fights with these dudes with punching power. Can he take a punch? And here's the thing when it comes to that, man. People want to see Shakur get his chin tested so bad, bro. And it bothers them that this kid has not been able to clearly get his chin tested yet. Now, I agree to a certain extent that it's going to sound funny saying this, but do I want to see him get his chin tapped? Yes and no. I would like to put it like this. I'm not asking for it, but if it happens, then, I'd like to see if he can take it. Put it like that. And I think he can. But he hasn't, these dudes, he's been in there with a few power punches. And they haven't been able to touch this kid. That's not Shakur's fault, bro. It's not his fault. This is boxing. Last time I checked, there's 2 fighters in that ring, man. The other fighter is supposed to know what to do. If he can't figure it out, then he can't. One other thing to add about Shakur Stevenson versus De Los Santos, if you watch a lot of Edwin De Los Santos' previous fights, right? You saw how he fought Rayo. Now, mind you, Rayo had punching power too. He was way more aggressive against Rayo. Why is nobody talking about this? He was way more aggressive fighting Rayo. Why wasn't he that aggressive fighting Shakur Stevenson? A guy that they say don't have no power. Why wasn't Edwin De Los Santos as aggressive with Shakur than he was with Rayo? Makes you think, don't it? I caught that because I was watching that fight last night. I went back and watched the De Los Santos and Shakur Stevenson fight. And I'm sitting there watching De Los Santos. And I'm like, yeah, everybody's clowning Shakur for moving around and all. But nobody's clowning De Los Santos for I saw points in that fight where he actually stood there in front of Shakur, ain't do nothing. He didn't throw no punches. He threw lazy jabs. He wasn't aggressive. A few times here and there he was aggressive, but he wasn't as aggressive as he was against Rayo. That's what I noticed, man. So if Shakur is this weak puncher, how come you don't never see a lot of these dudes really run up in him like that or try to, really press the action on him? Because De Los Santos was not pressing him the way he was pressing other fighters and even fighters with power. So how does this fight go, man? Shakur Stevenson, I think it's all about the Shakur that we get. If we get the Shakur that we got during De Los Santos, more defensive-minded fighter, we will get a easy boxing clinic, and he will box Zepeda's ears off. And I think even if he outboxes, we might see Zepeda get dropped again because he's a little bit more careless and reckless than some of other Shakur's fighters, opponents. But if Shakur decides to make it a fight kind of like how he fought Valdez or how he fought Jamel Herring, that's when we're going to probably see if Shakur, his chin is what people think it is. I think he got a good chin, but that's when I think we're going to really get to see. Also, I think he'll stop Zepeda if they fight in the pocket. I just got the feeling that he would, bro. I told you, I think he's an underrated puncher. I just think he is. I don't know if he believes in his own punching power, but I think he's an underrated puncher. He might possibly stop William Zepeda, man. You know what I mean? If they fight that way. If it's a style where he just boxes him, he's going to easily outbox Zepeda. So, ultimately, I got this fight going to Shakur Stevenson by a unanimous decision. I mean, a wide gap. He's gonna put on a clinic, and you might even see a couple of knockdowns in this fight. He might even knock down Zepeda. Because I look at it like, look, if Tevin Farmer was able to do it, I'm pretty sure Shakur could do it. And his punch will probably have a more lasting effect than Tevin Farmer's punch. The question is, though, a lot of people question Shakur Stevenson's grit, his dog. See, Tevin Farmer got dog. We know Tevin Farmer's a dog. He knows, and he's not a big puncher. He's still a dog. People don't think Shakur has that in him. I think he does. He does. And I was watching the Lozano's fight, and I'm like, okay, I believe his arm, it was something really wrong with his arm or his hand, whatever it was, because he was barely throwing that right. He wasn't really throwing it. He wasn't. He was just really throwing the left, if I can remember the right side correct, because he's a southpaw, and the southpaws, we know, their jab hand is their right hand. So he was throwing most of his punches with his left hand. You know what I mean? So I got Shakur, man. I mean, definitely Shakur by decision. But don't be surprised if Shakur stops this dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But I think the fight will probably go to the cards. Just my thing. Let me know what y'all think about this fight, man. This your boy, Rebel Like Boxing. I'll catch y'all in the next one. And I'm off this.